Okay, so I'm back down Thorpe Lea fishery. You may have seen on the channel before, I've done a couple of videos on here. Fished here a few times over the years. This time's a little bit different. I'm actually down with Joe and Luke from Carpology. So I'm going to be shooting a few bits sort of behind the scenes. They're down here doing the third in the series of their versus matches. So they're going up against each other. I'm kind of tucked away just to the right of them. Got the rods out, so I'll sort of be documenting what I'm doing and yeah, just catching up with them. And obviously just trying to just show you guys what's actually involved when they're filming. You know, I think there's a lot more to it than a lot of people sort of realise. So it should be fun. The weather actually it's beginning of February and it's been obviously really cold and it's really mild today. The sun's come out today, so I'm fishing. There's a big sort of bar out in the middle, shallows up to sort of 4 or 5 foot. So I'm straight out there with the sun out. I'm hoping they get up on there. There's no zigs allowed, so it's the next best thing really. You know, if they're up in the water, you're in that shallow water up there. So 3 rods are out, a couple of bags and just a single pop up. Yeah, you know, not put any bait or anything out yet. So it's still early days. You know, it's literally been an hour since I've had the rods out. So just got to set the bivvy up now, get set for the night, see what happens. All right, we're away. Massive drop back on the middle rod. So this is the solid bag. Yeah, out on that bar as I mentioned. Yeah, it's been out there probably a couple of hours. I think, yeah, well luckily Luke's rod's on out because he's about to cast out. They're about to start the match. So yeah, good start. He's just slowly coming towards me, so hopefully we can get him in. Yes, get in. Great start.
Nice.
Yeah, happy with that. Thank you, Luke. Thank you, Joe, with the camera. All right, I've already weighed him, and he's just under 20 pounds, so 19 pound 14 ounces. So yeah, lovely common. I don't think there's many commons in here as well, so that's always a bonus. Yeah, solid bag, 23 wraps I think this one was. Out on that said bar that I was talking about. Very good start, hasn't taken long, so yeah, hopefully it's a sign of things to come. Oof. So it was a good start, and Joe's had one. So Joe and Luke have cast out, they've started their little verses between them. So yeah, puts Joe in the lead quite early on. I won't give away too much on sizes and stuff, but yeah, we both sort of got off the mark quite quick, so pressure's on Luke now. And we're all doing sort of the same tactics really. So I've got a couple of bags out just like that, just nice little bags. And I did sort of vary the range, and then I got a single pop-up out there as well. So the fish came from one at 22 wraps, one at 23. So the fish came at 23, so they're both at that range now. Yeah, lovely sort of clear area out there. I think most of it's pretty clear. There's the odd bit of siltweed about, but yeah, up on that bar, it's pretty clear. It's very well fished. So yeah, the fish are used to seeing bait on there, and I think they feed out there quite a lot. So yeah, really mild day today. When the sun's out, you know, it almost feels like spring. It's really nice. The water is still freezing though. You know, when I was holding the fish, it was definitely still pretty cold, and when I put it back, yeah, my hands were quite numb afterwards. So, but it's looking good, as predicted. Really, I knew if that sun come out, they'd be out there in the shallow water, and they definitely seem to be. There's been a few shows out there as well. A couple right on Luke, well, sort of just behind his rod. So, yeah, with a bit of luck, it won't be long before he has one as well. So I'm going to keep regular recasting. I've recast a couple already. So every sort of 2-3 hours max, I'll put a fresh bag out there. But yeah, sort of afternoon's drawing in now, and we'll see sort of what the night does. But I've got a feeling the night might be a bit quiet. Obviously the temperatures are going to drop a bit. They might drop off that bar, but wait and see. It's hard to tell. They might switch on a bit more, but fingers crossed for more action. Alright, well the light is very quickly fading, so I'm just clipping up the rods, ready to redo them for the night. I'm going to stick with a couple of bags and then just a little stiff hinge on the left hand rod, which is cast a little bit further. So yeah, going to get this wrapped up, tie a couple of bags, and yeah, stick the rods back out for the night. Right, we've got another. It's just gone sort of 10 o'clock, and middle rod again, went up tight, dropped down, and yeah, we've managed to land him. And he's a little bit bigger, so 21.14, just under 22 pound. And yeah, he's a lovely little mirror, so another fish. And we didn't really think anything was going to happen in the night, fishing, such shallow water. It has dropped a little bit tonight. It's still really mild for this time of year, so yeah, hopefully there's a few fish out there still feeding. So we get the rod back out, and yeah, just hopefully it carries on the way it has. Happy days. That water is freezing. Thank you, mirror. Well, good morning, and what a great way to start the morning with a lovely little comment like this. It's like a little mini version of the one I had yesterday. Mid double, so this come off the left hand rod, so the single pop-up sort of just blasted out there a little bit further. Yeah, just over 100 yards, so they've been showing out there this morning. The sun's come up over the horizon, there's definitely going to be some fish out there again, so yeah, happy days. Nice to get amongst a couple. I also had one last night as well. I say last night, about 2:30 in the morning. It was another little mid double, so just did a quick shot on the mat, to be fair, in the dark, and slipped in back. But so yeah, fish number 4. So we'll get this pop up back out there and hopefully continue it. What little update, it's about 9:30 now. So yeah, nice little bit of action in the night. Obviously had that one sort of just before I went to bed, and then yeah, a nice little mid-double at about 2:30 in the morning. So, and yeah, woke up to a lovely little sunrise, and then yeah, fish sort of not long after, just as the sun was popping its head up. Yeah, that nice common, sort of the mini me of the one yesterday. So yeah, 4 fish so far. They've been showing again out in the middle, so yeah, I'd be surprised if something else doesn't happen. Quietly confident that yeah, that water is still freezing. Yeah, it's sort of abnormally mild really for this time of year, you know, right at the beginning of February. When that sun does come out behind the clouds, it's almost t-shirt weather. But yeah, so far so good. I'm gonna sort of keep recasting the bags. The fish this morning was actually just on a single pink pop-up, just on a little stiff hinge rig. That was a little bit further than the bags, but yeah, I've seen them out there showing, like I say. So yeah, keep the recast going, keep the bags fresh, and hopefully we can nick one more before we go. I'm just making up a few more bags for a recast, so I thought I'd just really quickly run down the setup for my bags. Simple stuff, pretty standard I'd say on the whole. Yeah, nothing revolutionary. But yeah, just a little tiny wafter. This one's a little pink sent from heaven. Size 4 hook, bit of shrink on the eye of the hook just to kick it over a little bit, and then some more shrink on the shank just to pin that hair to the hook. 3.5 to 4 inches of a sort of supple braid. And then I've got a 3-ounce inline lead, drop-off style, because there is a bit of weed out there and a few snags to my right, so I'd rather be safe and drop the lead in this situation. You know, if there was no snags and stuff around, then I wouldn't drop it. And that's just mounted on a short little leader. Yeah, like leadless, supple leader. So, and then just loop to loop style, so I can make up, I've got a couple made up already in the bucket. So yeah, you can just make up a few at a time, and then when you're recasting, it's really easy. I also have a 4th setup. Rod setup, rod and reel. So we're using 3 rods. It's worth noting actually, you can't normally use 3 rods on here, but there's only literally a few more anglers on here and 2 other guys, maybe 3. So yeah, the bailiff said yesterday morning we can use 3 rods, which I tend to do in the winter. So it's normally a 2-rod venue. But yeah, I've got a 4th setup, which I'll get clipped up. And then when I do get a fish, I can then, it's ready to go with a bag, clipped up. Literally, you'll bang it straight back out then. But yeah, loop to loop for the other rods. So yeah, I'm gonna make the third one up. I've got a couple already made and do a couple of recasts. So it's been a couple of hours since the recast on the bags. I have recast the pop-up as well, and change that to a yellow 7th heaven. But yeah, nothing else. Seen a couple more shows out there, a few slicks as well, so there's definitely fish out there. So it's just a matter of whether we can nick one more before we go. But it's just gone sort of midday now, so Joe and Luke will be reeling in soon, and it'll be the end of the match this time. They both caught, but I won't give away too much. Obviously, you have to watch their video when it comes out. Ours and theirs, be coming out around the same time. So yeah, look out for that on the Carpology YouTube. But I am going to venture over there in a second, just catch up with them and ask a couple of questions, about the matches so far and how they get on with filming and stuff. So yeah, we'll venture over there. They're just next door, so we'll go and have a chat. Okay, so firstly guys, thanks for having me along. Hope I didn't get in the way too much. But yeah, just obviously wanted to capture a bit of behind the scenes stuff and show people what's involved, in these sort of sessions, and when you're both sort of filming and just everything involved. Just wanted to sit down at the end of this session, third in the series now. So firstly, what has been your highlight of the series? Do you want to answer this one?
I mean, I haven't had many highlights. I think probably Drayton.
Yeah.
Like the first of a new series is always good fun, and it kicked off.
Yeah.
We had a lot of fish, we had some good ones as well. So yeah, I think, Drayton was just fun overall.
And it's good in terms of actually you catch me up and like who is actually going to win. There was a lot more. It was a lot closer than I thought.
Because you went ahead quite a bit, didn't you? And then I started catching a bit, and it was quite to-ing and fro-ing.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas it hasn't really been like that since.
So highlights for me would be that it's now 3-0. Simple as that. Yeah, and proving just how effective solid bags are.
Yeah.
It's a tactic that a couple of years ago I just didn't like the look of. I didn't like the idea of a rig being so bunched up in a bag and everything. I completely sold on them now. Like, I've yet to go somewhere where they don't work.
Yeah, I think that's been quite an eye opener for me, because I'm almost where you were 2 years ago, thinking, I don't like solids. So what's the point? And always think of it as a small fish tactic for some reason, instead of having like a spread of bait. But for what we're doing, when we're needing quick bites and you've only got 24 hours, it's hard to fool them.
They lend themselves to match venues. So
yeah.
that's been the not so much a highlight, but more of an eye opener and an assurance that it's a banging tactic.
Yeah, and a learning curve as well.
Nice. And the obvious sort of follow-on from that is any low points.
Probably this session. This has been a bit of a grueler. Yeah,
I mean, your head's gone in every match, but this is the first time you've been just like, can we go home now?
I fully admitted that my head's gone in this match. The other one's been like, nah, it's fine. But no, this one, it's gone. I've had obviously one towards the end of the match to, I was going to say salvage it or have a little bit of respect, but
it's not a blank. That's the main. That's fish just
that's
rolled
right over a bag. Gotta go.
Oh, and again.
So yeah, there's been low points. I mean, we've been quite lucky. I think we've pretty much landed everything that we've hooked.
Yeah, every single one I've had on this trip I've landed.
But even in the other matches,
all of Drayton and all of Barston, yeah.
Yeah, I can't.
I'd say the only low point was it was pretty grotty weather at Barston.
That was grim.
But that's the only low point I can think of. It's a bit crappy weather.
Yeah.
Other than that,
wow. Which that's going to happen when you're doing it over winter.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not all bad. It's not as bad as it might seem on camera. It's worse.
So also kind of follow on from that, what would you have done differently if you could rewind the clocks, if anything?
Well, I think if we start with Drayton.
Yeah.
Although we did all right, like I think for as far as sessions go, that went quite well. But apparently by Drayton standards, that wasn't that great, and we should have fished it completely differently.
Yeah, I mean, we had, I think it was 17, 18 fish in 24 hours or something. Mm-hmm. So to us, we had a lot of fish in that time, but we were told by quite a few people in the comments that we fished it completely wrong. Should have fished it with zigs. Should have had about 400 fish in about 5.5 minutes. But yeah, so that's probably something that maybe we should have done differently. Maybe we could have had even more.
But when it comes to Barston, I think I should have done a bit more prior prep. I didn't really know much about it other than it's full of fish. And we were fishing quite far out in fairly shallow water. And it turns out that actually if you fish a lot closer in at times, they patrol up and down the lake because all the match boys chuck in their food at the end of the day. Apparently you can get them quite close in. We still had a few, but it wasn't prolific like we'd hoped.
No, plus we thought we were at the deeper end, but it turns out the deeper end is only half of that end. So we were in the shallow part of the deeper end. So yeah, fish were showing in a different place. And I think that's something that it makes it hard. We've got 24 hours. Yeah, naturally, if you were doing a fishing session...
Oh, sorry, one just proper did that and then slowly went back down again, just off the island. Sorry.
Yeah, I think if you're fishing like without filming it all, if you notice that actually we're in the wrong place, there's fish over there, you go round, you're around there in half an hour. When it comes to filming and showing all of that, when you've only got 24 hours, you've only got 8 hours of daylight, it's not quite so easy because it will take 3 hours to move.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, sometimes it's hard to act on.
And also, when you're doing a match, you set out your swims, unless you both then agreed, okay, we both move.
Yeah.
It's like, when you can't do that in normal match scenarios, just move, swim. So once you're in your swim, that's where you got to fish. Or maybe cast slightly round to someone else's water, but that's another matter.
Yeah.
So you kind of touched on it there already, the answer to this one. But yeah, finally, do you think filming while fishing yourself has an effect on your fishing results?
100%.
Yeah. There's no way it can, because you're putting time and effort into something other than your fishing. And don't get me wrong, I love what we do, but it does have an impact on how much effort and time you can put into getting your rod spot on and that.
Yeah.
When you're filming yourself, especially if you're on your own filming yourself, the amount of time it takes to do things, well, you know as well. You can't just rock up, see the fish and get the rods out. You've got to film each bit.
Yeah, I think so many times, like when we, aside from this series, when we go out to film someone else, they're always surprised that we don't bring rods with us. And it's like, you can't, if you're set to go and do that, you can't film properly if you're then fishing. So then when you've actually got to film and fish, both kind of take a hit. Yeah. You can't give 100% to both because you don't physically have the time. Obviously we are filming each other in this series, but it's still...
Well, we were until you had completely
this session
gone.
And
I was playing a fish and you were just sorting your own rods, so we didn't have any footage of a couple of my fish.
Oh, was that because you were around in the toilet?
It was, yeah. But okay. I was back in time to play the next one.
Halfway through.
Obviously, I know the answer to that a bit more, but part of the reason for me coming out to do this was to try and show people really what is involved a bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there is a lot into it. As simple as just getting the fish out of the water onto the mat. Mm-hmm. Don't just.
It's a whole process, isn't it?
Yeah.
So instead of like you say, just lifting up a sling, sorting it out, you've got to worry about getting the shot of the sling coming out of the water. You've got to then have a camera ready for when the fish goes down on the mat. You've got to film actually showing the weight of it. You've got to then have 2 camera angles to show the fish being lifted. Like there's so many more steps to it that in the video when you're watching it, you're seeing it as if you were just there watching it in person. But to make that happen, there's a lot more stages than a lot of people think.
Hopefully it's a nice little insight for people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See a little bit sort of behind the scenes, and then sort of my mug catching a few fish.
Yeah, I was going to say cheers for coming along. It's nice to see some fish come out from this side of the lake as well.
No need for that, is there?
Every need for it.
No need.
Cheers, guys.
No worries.
Cheers, Ben.
And cut.
All right, I'm going home.
And again, just off the island.
Okay, so we're edging towards the end of the session. Brody's packed away, most of the bits are away, rods are still out there, just trying to hang on for one last grasp, sort of carp, but yeah, whether it happened or not, I don't know. I mean, there's still been a couple of shows out there. Luke and Joe are gone now. Just before Luke reeled in, there was a fish show right by him, so yeah, I'm really surprised we didn't have more than we did, but I'm happy, even though it has, the air temperature has been a lot milder, but yeah, that water is definitely not mild. But yeah, nice start to the year. That was actually my first sort of fish of the year, so yeah, really chuffed with that. Nice little chat at the end there with Luke and Joe as well, so thanks to the guys for that. Just a little summary even of their versus matches they've been doing. I'm sure if you haven't checked them out, definitely do. They're a good laugh. Sort of plenty of banter between them, and it's quite raw, as in it shows as things go on, so the mishaps and mistakes, they show it all. So yeah, it's quite refreshing to see. But yeah, head on over to the Carpology YouTube for that. Like I said before, this session will be going up about around the same time that this blog goes up. So yeah, going to reel in a sec, sort of get the last bits away, and I'll be on my way. So if I don't have one right at the end, then this will be it. So if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe if you want to see future videos, and don't forget to hit the little bell button if you don't want to miss any future notifications. Thanks for watching.